Calgary, ranked as North America's #1 most livable city, but what is it that makes Calgary so special? So if you're considering making the move to Calgary and you want to learn a little bit more about what our beautiful city has to offer and why it's such a hotspot for new home buyers and investors, then stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to talk about my top 9 favorite things about living in Calgary. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Mason Stepanik and I live here in Calgary, Alberta, and I create videos around what it's like living here in Calgary. So let's break down exactly why so many people are making Calgary their new home. And the first reason is affordability, right? In comparison to like Toronto or Vancouver, it is considerably cheaper to live here in Calgary. And just to give you some quick comparisons, if you were to rent a 1-bedroom here in Calgary, the average rent here is about $1,800. Whereas if you were to go to Toronto, you're looking closer to $2,400 per month. And then Vancouver is as high as $2,700 per month on average. And in terms of the average purchase price of a home, here in Calgary, you're looking at spending at around $540,000. Whereas if you were to go to Toronto, you're looking closer to $1.15 million. And then in Vancouver, you're looking at as high as $1.3 million, okay? So it is considerably less expensive to purchase a home here in Calgary. And this is why it's great for anyone looking to get into a home, whether you're a first-time buyer, downsize or an upsize or whatever situation you're in, your dollar is gonna go a lot farther here. And just to give you a quick comparison, it costs about 22% less to live here in comparison to Vancouver and 18% less in comparison to Toronto. And this is why Calgary is becoming such a hotspot for investors as well, because the entry point to purchase a home, it's considerably lower, which means that the potential for appreciation and cash flow is a lot higher, right? So we're starting to see a lot of investors come from Toronto and Vancouver because whereas you'd be able to get one property out there and the potential for cash flow is a lot less, you're able to get 2 properties here. So if you want to see the properties we have for sale here in Calgary and see how much farther your dollar goes, I'm gonna leave a link to our home search in the description below, so definitely check that out. And another reason why people are moving to Calgary is because of the job opportunities and the economy. We're actually known here in Calgary as one of the economic powerhouses here in Canada, and we've started to see a massive shift here since the end of the pandemic, and a lot of people are moving here due to the opportunity and the economic growth. And just to elaborate on that a little more, we're starting to see a ton of tech companies actually move their headquarters from Toronto and Vancouver to downtown Calgary. And this is because the commercial leasing is considerably cheaper here. It's almost half the price in comparison to Toronto and Vancouver. And with the influx of all these new jobs that are getting created with these tech companies that are moving here, we are starting to see a lot of new construction, high-rise condominiums starting to pop up because of the influx of new workers that are coming to the city. In addition to that, companies like Amazon, Walmart, Canadian Tire, and Home Depot are investing billions of dollars here over the next 5 years. And since all these companies are moving to Calgary and we're getting investments within Calgary and the province, more and more people are moving here and property values are continuing to rise. And it's with all these factors considered, which is helping Calgary's communities grow and helping our economy grow for the future. Let's talk about the lifestyle here in Calgary, because if you compare Calgary against like Toronto or Vancouver, you'll notice that it's not really about the hustle and grind and the 24/7 go, go, go lifestyle, right? Here in Calgary, it's more really about like spending time with friends and family, you know, going out and enjoying your weekends and really enjoying what the city has to offer. And this is why Calgary is rated Canada's most livable city. But if you're looking for more of a fast-paced environment, then I definitely recommend living more inner city in downtown Calgary, because you're going to be closer to all the fun, right? And this is why it's a popular spot for young professionals, because you're gonna get to enjoy more of the hustle and bustle that the city has to offer, okay? So if this sounds more like you, then I would recommend neighborhoods such as the Beltline or Victoria Park or East Village, because you're gonna be in closer proximity to all the bars and the restaurants and the events that occur here in downtown Calgary during the summer. And nothing beats downtown Calgary here during the summer. And you're also going to be close to the Stampede grounds and the Saddle Dome, which is the home arena for the Calgary Flames. If you're looking for more of a slower paced lifestyle, then I would definitely recommend living more outer city and in the suburbs. And this is where you're going to find more of a quieter atmosphere. You're going to get more living space, and you're going to have better access to parks and recreational facilities, which is why the suburbs are more ideal for families, okay? And the housing options out in the suburbs are going to be more affordable as well. So some of the communities that I would recommend in the suburbs are Livingston, Seton, and Nolan Hill, just to name a few. All right, so now let's talk about the weather here in Calgary, because we have 4 very distinct seasons here, and each of them kind of brings their own element to the city, but sometimes on a rare occasion, we can experience all 4 seasons in a single day. It gets really crazy sometimes. So in the summer, it does get pretty warm. We kind of hover around that 25 to 30 degree mark for most of it, but in the winter, it can get a little bit chilly. We kind of hover around that -5 degrees on average, with it getting as low as -20 and -25 degrees sometimes. But the one thing that's really clear here, and this is the thing that I love the most about Calgary, is its sunshine. We actually get around 333 days of sunshine on average over the course of the year, making Calgary Canada's sunniest major city. We also receive Chinooks throughout the winter, which is nature's gift from the mountains, where we get westerly winds that raise the temperatures up like 15 to 20 degrees. And sometimes it raises them up high enough to the point where bars and restaurants will actually have their patios open in the middle of winter, which is absolutely incredible. All right, so now let's talk about transportation, because getting around Calgary is going to be incredibly important, right? So whether you're a biker, a driver, or you use public transport, Calgary does offer many different options. But the one thing to know about our city is that it's very widespread, right? We're bigger than Toronto and Vancouver when it comes to landmass, and it takes around 30 to 45 minutes to get from one side of the city to the other if you're driving, just depending on which route you take or traffic and whatnot. And although the public transportation isn't the best in comparison to some other Canadian cities, it'll definitely get you to where you need to go. And the city of Calgary is making more improvements here over the coming years. We have a light rail C-train system with the red line and the blue line, which is also supplemented with buses. And the city is actively moving into construction with the green line to connect Southeast and North Calgary. We also have bike lanes. Calgary is a very bike-friendly city with over 1,000 kilometers of different bike trails, paths, and bike lanes spread throughout the city. We also have a multitude of road networks, among the best in the country, and in comparison to other Canadian major cities, the traffic here is actually relatively light. We have a Deerfoot Trail that runs north and south throughout the whole city, and then Stony Trail, which is our ring road, and it encompasses the outskirts of Calgary, right? And then additional to that, we have different roads like McLeod Trail, Glenmore Trail, 16th Ave, and Bennington Trail to connect Deerfoot and Stony to the inner parts of the city. One of Calgary's best features is our proximity to the Rocky Mountains. We're about a 45-minute to an hour drive out to the Rocky Mountains, just based on wherever you're at in the city. And there's a lot to do out there. You can go out there and check out the hiking trails across Banff and Kananaskis National Park. There's a lot of good trails with really nice views. You can also go into Banff and Canmore, which are these little towns that are nestled within the mountains, and they offer a bunch of different like boutiques and shops and restaurants, and they're a really, really big tourist draw. So they do tend to be pretty busy throughout the whole year. If you're into skiing and snowboarding, you also have Sunshine Village and Lake Louise ski resorts. I've lived here in Calgary my whole life, and these are among the top resorts that I have been to across all of Canada, and they attract tons of people from all across the world. So yeah, you have those options available. You also have Lake Louise and Moraine Lake. You've probably seen photos of them before. They are Canada's largest tourist attraction. They're the lakes with the very crystal clear blue water with the mountains in the background. So you're definitely gonna have that option to check out as well. Calgary also has a lot of activities to offer its residents. If you're into nature, there are a lot of different parks and green spaces that you can use. If you're located in downtown Calgary, you have Princess Island Park right along the Bow River there. If you're in North Calgary, you have Nose Hill Park, and then in South Calgary, there's Fish Creek Park as well, okay? Another popular thing to do here in the summer is floating down the rivers. Now, there are different options available to rent a raft to float on, or you can just purchase one yourself. And you can either float down the Elbow River or the Bow River. Each of them kind of has like their own vibe. Just make sure that you bring a life jacket because the police do patrol the rivers and they will give you a ticket if you don't have one on. We also have a lot of different attractions and events here in Calgary. The first being the Calgary Tower, which is probably Calgary's most iconic landmark. And it's a tower with an observation deck that gives you panoramic views of the city, the downtown core, and the Rocky Mountains over on the west side there. So it's definitely worth checking out. It also offers a really cool dining experience where it rotates, like you sit down and it rotates you around with the different views of the city. So really cool spot if you want to check that out. We also have the Calgary Stampede, which is without a doubt Calgary's biggest draw. It's the world's largest rodeo and exhibition. It takes place here in July for a period of 10 days, and it includes the rodeo, carnival, lots of different foods and drinks, as well as a lot of different like live events and concerts. We actually get a lot of the world's best talent here during Stampede Week, and it's really cool because it's like the whole city shuts down and they put on their cowboy hats and cowboy boots, and it's really a good time, and it's sweet because it's an important part of Calgary's history and identity, right? So whether you're a young adult, you're a family, you're single, there's lots to do for everyone during the Calgary Stampede. We also have the Canadian Olympic Park, which is a sports and recreational hub located on the west side of the city, and we used it to host the 1988 Winter Olympic Games, and since then it's been converted into a modern state-of-the-art recreational facility. In the winter, they have their ski and snowboard hill with the terrain park, as well as their state-of-the-art skeleton and bobsleigh track. And then in the summer, they have lots of different activities such as their mountain biking trails, they have mini golf, they have obstacle courses, zip lining, really the works. So there's a lot to do, whether you're new to the city or a family, it's definitely a spot that you're gonna wanna check out. We also have a lot of different festivals that happen here over the spring and summer. So like if you're looking for food or music, you have a couple different options like the Lilac Festival on 4th Street, Taste of Calgary, Chasing Summer, and Country Thunder, just to name a couple. And these are really good to experience the true culture that the city has to offer. Calgary's food scene is also really underrated, and we've been getting some really solid restaurants popping up in recent years. One of my favorites is a restaurant called Major Tom. It's located 40 stories above the downtown core, and you can get some really solid views of the city. And if you check it out during their golden hour, which is between 3 and 5 p.m., you can get a really solid view of the sunset. And their menu is really, really good. They got a really dynamic fusion style menu, so I definitely recommend checking that one out. If you're into steak, I would definitely recommend Caesar Steakhouse. It's my personal favorite and probably among the best steaks that I've had. And they've been serving Calgary for over 40 years, so that's a comment in itself, so I'd definitely check that out as well. And if you're looking for a solid brunch spot, I would definitely check out the Broken Yolk. It's a really cool atmosphere, it's really cozy, and they offer a multitude of different sweet and savory options. And there's 2 restaurants located. They have one in Evanston and one in Mahogany in the north and south sides of the city there. They also have their sister restaurant, Bros To Go, right in the downtown core, but they're more sandwich and burger focused, but it's still really, really good. So I would really highly recommend both Broken Yolk and Bros To Go. All right, everybody, those are my top 9 reasons to move to Calgary. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. And if you got some value from it and you want to continue to get more content like this just about Calgary and what the city has to offer, then make sure you like the video and you smash that subscribe button. And leave a comment and tell me what your favorite part about the video was, right? And if you have any other questions about the city or any part about Calgary specifically, just be sure to let us know. My name is Mason Stepaniak, and we'll see you on the next video.